Good morning, everyone. It's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. This message goes to the unions and the mayor. I'd like to read you an email that I got, and we get hundreds of these every week. But this one I want you to read because I want you to see what you're doing to people. And I also want you to recognize that at this point in retirees' lives, that there are burdens that we have to go through that you are not yet familiar with. And that we all know that a healthy state of mind can usually help you heal. And the added burden that you are putting on people is literally killing them. Dear Marianne, I am part of the city workers in this fight to stop the city from putting us in this advantage plan, but I find myself in a bit of a dilemma. I am reaching out to you because I was just diagnosed with a spine tumor, and that is not very good. I am scheduled for removal next week, but it looks like I will need to have chemotherapy and radiation. Obviously, if I say I don't want the Medicare Advantage plan, I will not be able to get a Medigap insurance because of this diagnosis. I am hoping that we will be able to stop the city from doing this, but I also noticed that in my mail today that I received from Aetna that I only have until June 30th to opt out, and unfortunately, I will be in the middle of treatment. It scares me on both fronts. If I am forced to accept, the insurance company could deny me my treatment. But if I opt out, I won't be able to afford Medigap insurance because of my pre-existing conditions, and could never afford this treatment on my own. I am wondering for folks like me if you have some advice about this whole process. So to the unions listening and to the mayor listening, or his staffers or his advisors, what would you tell her? Because at this situation, she shouldn't have to be worrying about her doctors not accepting a Medicare Advantage plan or finding a facility, because typically most specialized cancer centers do not accept Medicare Advantage. Even so that Aetna had to make a special arrangement for Hospital for Special Surgery and Memorial Sloan Kettering to be in the network because they don't typically participate in Advantage plans. Now, MSK would be a little different in that they do all the billing for the doctors and the doctors are in the plan. However, for Hospital Special Surgery and many hospitals like Hospital for Special Surgery, the facility may accept the Advantage plan, but you have to contact each individual doctor to determine if they would accept it as well. That is prohibitive. And it is most likely unlikely that in a situation that doctor would be taking this plan or want to take this plan. And from the looks of the reviews of physicians who started in Medicare Advantage, some of them do not choose to stay and leave the network. And they don't want to be bothered with accepting this plan for authorization or payment or any of the nonsense that goes around with MA plans. We're also again demanding that the city council do an investigation into this unfair labor practice of the unions and labor relations negotiating away the health care for retirees and the misuse of the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund for raises and collective bargaining in 2014. Remember something. They sold off retiree health care to finance the stabilization fund, a fund that's been misused. And who does that fund really benefit? Active workers, which means active union workers, the mayor, and city council. If you're on GHI, your premium difference between HIP and GHI is paid for through the stabilization fund. So I'm hoping this isn't just another situation of where you would be saying, or maybe no one's telling the city council that this is exactly what they're doing. But the unions know that they sold off retiree health care to finance the stabilization fund so that they remain premium free. And so far, the two unions that settled their contracts, one ratified, one pending ratification, only told their members the benefits of that 2018 agreement provides them with funding for their stabilization funds or their welfare funds, and that allows their health care to remain premium free. But it doesn't tell them what they did in order to get there. selling off retirees' choice of health care plans, stripping them of all choices and forcing them into managed care plans. A single managed care plan, if you're not in one of the 10 counties of New York that would want to opt into HIP VIP, which is also a Medicare Advantage plan. That they have stripped our access to traditional Medicare with a supplement that we've paid into since the very first paycheck we've ever earned. Privatizing healthcare, privatizing Medicare, and pushing a union down their throats. Pushing a health plan down their throats that is non-union. Aetna is for profit and non-union. Emblem Health was not for profit and was a union organization. And that's what you did to everybody. So I'm going to ask you, what advice would you give this lady, this retiree who is now burdened with this process? You can put your reply down below, and I'll make sure she sees it. The City Council could be a hero here, and it's time that the City Council recognized what they're putting people through and what they could do to stop it once and for all. Many of you have said, we only did what you said. You told us don't change the code. Well, you're right, but I actually did tell you 3 things. I said, don't change the code to Intro 874 because it would give a choice, but at a cost that people couldn't afford. And you would be directly passing premium onto retirees, people who paid and earned their benefits to keep their premium-free healthcare into their retirement. That's not a choice if you can't afford it. I said changing the code allows you, would prevent me to litigate or make litigation difficult because you're changing the law that I actually won the case on. And I said 3, if you really want to help retirees, pass legislation that truly helps retirees and provides them with the choice. Like, for example, the proposed bill that is sitting in the legislative office since December. I said all 3 things. You can be the hero here, City Council. And you can be the hero to this retiree who is burdened with her own life and death situation and now a burden of losing her health care and potentially her access to her providers and her continuity of care. What side of this are you on?